After losing to the Washington Commanders in the postseason, the Detroit Lions former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson has made his decision to sign with the Chicago Bears, and he will be their brand new head coach entering next season. What a great move by Ryan Poles and the entire front office of the Bears. It was a lot of rumors about him joining the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm happy that he didn't, because the Raiders, they don't have a quarterback right now. That would not make any sense. I understand that they have Tom Brady and an influence. You look at the Bears right now, they have the talent across the board. And you can say that Caleb Williams, he's not the quarterback that the Bears are looking for when you compare him to Jayden Daniels. For one, before I get into the Ben Johnson conversation, because I'm hyped up about this, Caleb Williams had a terrible coaching staff from day one, behind one of the worst lines in this league. He was the most sacked quarterback this season, and he had a bad head coach in Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus was a terrible head coach. As a defensive mind, he's solid. He has a place in this league as a defensive coordinator, maybe. As a linebackers coach, maybe. But the clock management was not there. You had the debacle against the Washington Commanders. Yes, that Hail Mary play did lose them the game, but it was more than just that. You had Shane Waldron being your offensive coordinator. You fired him before the halfway point in the season. You had Luke Getsy coach up Justin Fields. That was on Matt Eberflus. Now you bring in Ben Johnson, an offensive-minded coach, something I have been begging for the Bears to go out and get since they fired Matt Nagy. Now, Matt Nagy was not the best head coach to have, but you saw him help get that team to the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky. They were a defensively led team, but the schemes at the time, they weren't that bad until the end of the tenure with Matt Nagy. And when I look at the Bears, you moved off of Mitch Trubisky, who was a bust. You moved off of Justin Fields to bring in Caleb Williams. This is your third quarterback in the last few years that you have selected in the first round. And you basically walked into this situation because Ryan Poles made that move with the Carolina Panthers. If this move works out, this will definitely save the job with Ryan Poles, because they have not been able to hit him that offensive line position. But when I look at Caleb Williams, the 20 passing touchdowns to 6 interceptions, there's a lot of upside here still. He can be a franchise quarterback in this league with the weapons that he has on the outside. That offensive line just has to be better. Hopefully, Ben Johnson can come in and develop this offensive line, because he got to sit underneath Dan Campbell for a couple of years. He was our offensive coordinator since 2022, now through 2024. He got to see what the Lions did. They built that offensive line around Jared Goff, and it helped complete one of the best offenses we have seen in recent memory. And Ben Johnson was the main offensive play caller. So hopefully he can come in and he can work out with Caleb Williams. And I do believe that Caleb Williams right now, I'm just saying talent-wise, I'm not saying that he's better than Jared Goff. The talent that he has is more upside to his game than it is with Jared Goff. The ability to move off script, the ability to throw off platform, the ability to move around and to avoid tacklers and throw the football deep down the field. But he doesn't have to do that every single play. Caleb Williams has to learn how to play in structure. And I look at a guy like Ben Johnson. Hopefully he's going to keep him in structure. But Caleb Williams does have to step up. Get the football out quicker. Take what the defense gives you. And we saw Caleb Williams do this for 4 games this season. It was a 4-game stretch. He's getting the football out quick. Against the Green Bay Packers, they had a field goal attempt that was blocked. The same against the Minnesota Vikings. They had those games won. And against the Washington Commanders. That's 3 games right there that Caleb Williams played very well in, and they should have won those games. It came down to dumb coaching decisions. And the game against the Detroit Lions, Thanksgiving Day. If Matt Eberflus goes out there, he calls that timeout. You possibly get closer for a field goal. You go into overtime. But the defense at the time of the Lions, they were hurt. Caleb Williams could have possibly went out there and had a game-winning touchdown. But we will never know, because Matt Eberflus still has that timeout in his pocket. And Ben Johnson got to see Caleb Williams not once, but twice this year. That was a selling point in this move. He gets to work with Caleb Williams, and he got more reps underneath his belt as an offensive coordinator. I respect what he came out and what he said a couple of days ago, and what he said through his agency. He wanted to take time before he went out there and became a head coach. He wanted to get more seasoning in his game. We have seen a lot of coaches in this league. They're a position coach. They go out there, they take the job. They're not ready for the job just yet. Hopefully with the time that Ben Johnson got to spend with Dan Campbell, it has helped prepare him to become a very good head coach in this league. Because when I look at this division, it's star quarterbacks everywhere, man. You have the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see with J.J. McCarthy. Can he be the guy? Or if they bring back Sam Darnold. Then you have Jordan Love with the Green Bay Packers. You have Jared Goff with the Detroit Lions. And now you have Caleb Williams with this organization. This is a different situation. This is a different ball game from last offseason. Because you had Matt Eberflus, you had terrible coaching. Now you have a true coach in Ben Johnson, offensive mind. Hopefully he can go out there and he can be a complete head coach. The jury is still out. He hasn't coached a game just yet with the Bears, but just the thought about him right now running a lot of motion plays, a lot of trick plays with Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze is going to be great to see. And when you look at the other weapons besides Caleb Williams, because you have DJ Moore, he's a franchise wide receiver. He's not going anywhere. Hopefully this offseason, him and Caleb Williams can get down their timing and their chemistry together, because DJ Moore should be the number one wide receiver. He should be the number one option every single play. He is an amazing wide receiver. He is Mr. Consistent. He has dealt with terrible quarterback play over the last few years of his career. He's dealt with Tyson when he had to come in when Justin Fields went out. He's dealt with Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is not the most accurate quarterback. Now, personally, I don't believe that Justin Fields is a terrible quarterback, but I'll let you discuss it in the comment section below. He's had to deal with Sam Darnold when he was with the Carolina Panthers, and the same with Baker Mayfield. And they are not the same players right now that they were with the Carolina Panthers. So DJ Moore, he's a straight baller. He's a phenomenal player at that position. You drafted Rome Odunze in the first round. Personally, if it was me, I would have went with the offensive lineman, but there's a lot of upside with Rome Odunze. And I don't say that to just shortchange Rome Odunze like he's a scrub. Rome Odunze can be a very good wide receiver in this league. They just need offensive line help up front. And hopefully Darnell Wright does pan out, because they drafted him in the first round a couple of years ago. I really want to see him pan out at that tackle position. But you have DJ Moore, you have Rome Odunze. Keenan Allen is a question mark. Does he want to come back next season? Does he want to retire? Does he want to go back to the Los Angeles Chargers? He was a very good wide receiver this season, especially in those key moments on second and third down, because he's a veteran. And Caleb Williams already had that built-in chemistry with him. He didn't have that chemistry every single game with DJ Moore. But when Keenan Allen was fully healthy, he got the football to Keenan Allen as much as possible. And you have Cole Kmet at the tight end position. And we saw this offense take a turn for the better when they fired Shane Waldron and they let Thomas Brown go out there and they let him call plays. Thomas Brown, one day, I really hope that he gets to become a full-time offensive coordinator. I understand last year he was with the Carolina Panthers, but that was completely terrible. I want to see if he can go out there and really develop a quarterback as an offensive coordinator and hopefully become a true head coach in this league. Because I feel so bad for Thomas Brown. The man was a position coach. Then he was an offensive coordinator, an interim offensive coordinator. And then out of nowhere, they fire Matt Eberflus after the Thanksgiving Day game. And then they say, you know what? Let's be the interim head coach. That's a lot on a human being. And he lost a lot of weight during that time because he was stressed out. That's why I bring up to the point. When you're an offensive coordinator, you go from worrying about so many different things as a head coach. When you're offensive coordinator, you sit in on offensive line meetings, quarterback meetings, running back meetings. You're worried about only the offense. As a head coach, you're worried about everything. And this is something that Cliff Kingsbury has struggled with in his career. And there was a lot of conversations behind the scenes where they bring in Cliff Kingsbury to be the head coach. He had a lot of success with Caleb Williams in college. Right now, you don't have to discuss it anymore because Ben Johnson is going to be your head coach. And another reason why I wanted to see them bring in an offensive head coach, you have good defensive names. You have Tremaine Edmonds, very good linebacker. TJ Edwards, very good linebacker. Two very good run stoppers. Tremaine Edmonds can give you a lot of productivity in the pass game, but that's more so on TJ Edwards as a zone coverage linebacker. But they're very good in their own respectful ways. You look at the secondary, Jalen Johnson, true number one cornerback. They gave him a contract extension for a reason. He's phenomenal. Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson did have a bad moment against the Washington Commanders. He did lose them the football game. But let's not put all of that on Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson is a very good cornerback. And the reason why I said don't put all of that on Tyreek Stevenson, I guarantee that you won't see an offensive lineman line up at running back and fumble the football in the red zone with Ben Johnson. I guarantee that you will see more creativity coming from his play calling than you got to see from Shane Waldron. I guarantee you won't see a quarterback keeper on 3rd and 15 in the red zone area with Caleb Williams, like how you saw with Shane Waldron. So even though Tyrique Stevenson did essentially cost him the game, it was so many little moments in that game to where Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus cost the entire team as a whole. So the defense, they look very good in the linebacker room. They're very good in the secondary room. And when I look at the pass rushers, they're solid. And you have Montez Sweat. This year, he did not have the same impact that he had last season, but that's okay. He was getting double teamed a lot this year. He was getting chipped a lot. You need to bring in another pass rusher. And you can break the bank with this Bears team. Because unlike the other quarterbacks in this division, besides J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams is on his rookie deal. Jared Goff is not on the rookie deal at all. I look at Jordan Love. He's not on his rookie deal. It's only so much the Packers can do with their contracts. It's only so much the Lions can do with their contracts compared to the Chicago Bears. So you can go out there and you can bring in a lot of guys to help out this roster. And it's more than just that. Dennis Allen is the leading candidate to be the defensive coordinator with this team. Now, Dennis Allen as a head coach, he was terrible. But Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator, for many years with the New Orleans Saints, he was very good. He held Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in check year in and year out. As a head coach, he will never be ready for that spot in this league. But as a defensive mind, he's going to be good. So you have Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, main offensive coach, leading the show. You have Dennis Allen potentially leading this defense with these defensive players. They're cooking up something special here. And hopefully this does work out. I'm far from being a Chicago Bears fan, but I've seen the last 3 quarterbacks that they have had. From Mitch Trubisky to Justin Fields to Caleb Williams. The one thing about the Chicago Bears fan base, they want to see this team succeed. That's why they were chanting "Sell the team" when they lost against the Seattle Seahawks. It's not to be mean towards ownership. It's not to just go out there and be facetious. It's to go out there because they want to see their teams be better. The Bulls have struggled over the last few years since they moved on from Derrick Rose and the Jimmy Butler situation. This market hasn't had true major success since Michael Jordan. And I want to see this franchise be good because they will show up. They show up when the team only has 4 to 5 wins. So imagine how the fan base will look if they have 10 plus wins in the season, if they make the NFL playoffs. This is still one of the toughest divisions to play in the regular season. But you have this kid in Caleb Williams. The potential is there. Potential doesn't always win you games. It doesn't always give you postseason success. But hopefully with this kid, they can figure it out. They have good pieces on this roster. Bring in some offensive line help. And do not be surprised if he goes out there and he brings in some wide receivers from the Detroit Lions if they're free agents. He brings in some defensive players from the Detroit Lions if they are free agents. We have seen this in the past. Players develop a special bond with certain coaches and they want to follow their lead. They're going to come over. And I hope that's the case with the Bears. All I can say, Ron Poles, hopefully you got this one right. And Ron Poles has done a lot of good things with this organization. He made the trade with the Carolina Panthers. And they got the first overall pick to walk to the situation with Caleb Williams. He did Justin Fields a huge favor by trading him to the Steelers. He asked him, where do you want to go? He wanted to go to the Steelers. Ron Poles will work it out for you. So we know that you can trust him as a good general manager. He's going to do the right things for you as a player. And he's doing the right things by this team. I really hope this works out long term. And hopefully ownership, they give Ron Poles and they give Ben Johnson all the support. I'm not saying that they're going to be a Super Bowl contender next season. But for this to be the first domino to fall as a head coaching hire, it's already my favorite. Just with him and Caleb Williams. You improve this offensive line. You have DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was a very good running back with the Lions. Couldn't stay healthy. DeAndre Swift was a very good running back with the Philadelphia Eagles because he played behind a very good offensive line. You build that line with that passing attack with Caleb Williams. You let him use his legs. The possibilities are endless. But let me know in the comment section below, how would you grade this hire by the Chicago Bears? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.